Okay, Carousel Studio is very easy to use. Create an account, absolutely free. I'm currently on the public gallery. Now, there's two ways that we can create a carousel. You can do it from the app itself, or if you have a pro account, you can actually use an API and get your AI agent to spit out carousels all day. So I'm going to go into the dashboard, and what I'm going to do is I am just going to, let's go back to the app actually. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a carousel just from a video transcript, okay? So I'm just going to grab a transcript from a video that I watched earlier today. I'm going to simply paste it in here, okay? And I'm going to say turbo mode because I wanted to create it quickly. What that means is I don't want to have to look at each slide and make changes. I just wanted to go ahead and create all the slides. And I want the text overlaid on the image. So you've got a couple of options there. I don't want any slide numbers, and I don't want to use any brand presets. So I'm going to hit on the create button, right, ignite. And I'm just going to wait now until that completes. Now, it doesn't take long. It might take a minute or less than a minute, but you can monitor its progress with the status. So we'll just wait for this to complete, and then this should show us the carousel. And what it does, it pulls out all the key points that it thinks are important. And because I selected turbo mode, it doesn't show me each individual slide that it created. If I didn't select turbo mode, then I would have the option of seeing each slide and refining the text or the image that it had generated, okay? So I just like it to create them because it does a pretty good job. I don't need to see the individual slides. I'm always happy with what it produces. Then I can change things and refine the images at the end of the creation process anyway, okay? So we'll just wait for this to complete, and then we'll see what it has produced. Okay, so it has created a carousel. I've got a bit of a warning here I can ignore, just letting me know that I'm almost out of my credits, and that's okay, based on my current plan. Now, these are the images it has created, and because I asked it to also overlay the text on the image, it's also done that for me as well. Okay, great image, perfect text, and I can just go through each one of these, and they look brilliant. Very nice, very clean. Okay, and I can see them all down the bottom here as well. And on each slide, I can also refine, okay, and do the edits that I want. So now I'm happy with this. This looks great. I can just save that to the library. Now the library is basically my dashboard. So at the top of the menu here, once this is finished saving, I will go into the dashboard. So it's saved. So in my dashboard, I have all of my previously generated carousels, depending on your plan. Okay, if you're on a free plan, you probably only can see your most three recent carousels. Okay, so here is my dashboard. It's picked a title for me. There's all my carousels, and there are the hashtags from here. I can export to LinkedIn or to my computer, and there's more being added here as well. I'm adding a TikTok one here and other different social media platforms. Now I can view, right, how this looks because it's also available in the public library. Okay, so you can see the text is here as well, and I can just scroll through each one. We can obviously react to these as well, and these are also automatically made available in the public library where everybody can see your carousel. Okay, now you do have a choice. You can come back into the dashboard and you can make your carousel private as well. So you have that flexibility, but by default, all that you can see here is public. So you can come in here and you can say you want this to be private. Okay, now what you can also do is set up your API if you are on the pro plan. Okay, so I'm going to go through, I'm going to set up an API, and you just let AI, you don't have to code or do anything crazy like that. Set up your API key and just let your AI agent create these programmatically for you. So let's see, I'm going to say my first key. Okay, I'm going to create my key, and you've got to copy it. Okay, if you've used keys before, you know you've got to copy it. So I'm just going to save this somewhere in my notepad file for now, right? Just temporarily, I just want to store it somewhere so that I can give my key to my AI agent, right? So let's just see CarouselStudio key. You can't see this. I'm just doing this off a different screen. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to just click on I've saved the key. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Claude Code. That's what I'm going to use. And let me bring over. I'm just going to do this in a terminal. Okay, let me bring the terminal over so you can see. Here we go. All right. Now, let's see. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to run Claude Code in my terminal here. Now, I'm going to say yes, continue. So there we go. I've logged in automatically. I'm going to give it my key. I'm going to say here is my API key for CarouselStudio. Okay, it's probably going to get upset for pasting the key here, but that's okay. Right, and I'm going to say, I will tell you how to use this. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just go back to CarouselStudio. Okay, and I'm going to where the documents. I'm going to just go back to the app, and somewhere down here at the bottom, documents, and I'm going to find the document about the API. There we go. Okay, so this is how to use the API. Okay, now I can copy the URL, or I can just copy and paste the content here. So I'm just going to copy the URL, see if Claude Code can access it. Let's put it in here. Okay, here is how to use the API. Right, let's see if we can crawl the site. And then what we need to do is obviously give the Claude Code. So I'm going to say, yes, go ahead, fetch it. So I'm going to now have to call the API, right? And I'm going to pass it the same information that I passed into the user interface, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a script, right? I'm just going to use the same script, okay? And I'm going to get Claude Code to run the API. Okay, so Claude Code's saying that it can't read the page, okay, for whatever reason, that's fine. It just wants me to paste in the content, and that's okay. So I'm going to just copy paste everything, okay? There we go. And I'm going to paste it all inside of the terminal, okay? Yep, paste it. Hopefully you can read it now. So there we go. And I'm going to get my script ready. So while it's reading it, I'm going to say, here's the script that I want you to use. Let me grab it. Just want to copy the same script. Or we can give it an idea as well, right? We can just type in an idea. So I'm just going to ask Claude Code, what do you need from me to create a carousel, right? A carousel using, carousel using this API. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get Claude Code to create a skill for us that makes it easier, right? Because then we can just give it an idea or a transcript or a podcast notes, whatever it is that we have, and it'll automatically go and use our API key and create the carousel for us. And we can then also have it to automatically post to us with another skill. Okay, so let's see. To create the carousel, I just need one thing, the content, which is the text to post. That's it. Then you can have brand presets if we have that, or other options, but we're just going to give the content. So let's do that. Let me copy the content and give it to Claude Code to go and call the API. Okay, I'm just going to paste in. I'm just going to say, here is the content. Okay, let's just fix up this typo. I'm going to paste in the content. There we go, paste it. And there's all the content, exactly the same as it's the same content I did in the user interface. It doesn't mean we're going to get the exact same carousel, right? We'll get a similar version, maybe different images, slightly different text, but the same idea. Okay, now it's going to call the API to generate the carousel. Now, obviously, this may take a while, maybe 30 seconds, maybe up to a minute. So we'll just wait and see what it comes back with. Okay, we can see a timer running here. And so look, we haven't had to do any coding. We just gave Claude Code the documentation on how to use the API. We gave Claude Code the API key that we created from the app. Okay, and to be able to get an API, you do need to be on a pro plan. It's not available on the free plan. Okay, and then we just told Claude Code, here's our idea, which is a transcript from a video, and gave it to Claude Code. It's now going to go and call the API key, and the API, sorry, not the API key, but the API using our API key, and we should get back a result from the API that has everything we need, which is going to be the images for our carousel, with all the text and everything, and we can then do whatever we want with that carousel. Okay, so it looks like it's having some issues with this big paste that we did. It's going to now write it to a file and then do what it needs to do to call that API. Okay. Now, once this says call the API, we've got the results back. We'll take a look at what those results are. Yep. Let's say yes, go ahead. Then we're going to get Claude Code to create a skill for us so that we can automatically run this, right, with different content. And then we can also automate this. Go and grab transcripts from YouTube or Twitter or TikTok or whatever, and push them through this carousel generator API. And then we may have another skill to automatically post that repurposed content, regenerated content, inspired from the original source, to our own accounts, right? Maybe YouTube posts as carousels, Twitter posts as carousel, whatever platform of our choice. So I'm going to let this run, and let's see what Claude Code comes back with from the result of the API call. Okay, so I can see that what Claude Code has said here, that the carousel has been generated successfully, and it's now downloading the 5 slides. Okay, and so it's understood that there's these images that have come through from the results of the API call, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's basically downloading them. So we can click on each one of these images and open them up. So let me click on one of these images and let's see what it has produced. And it's also given us the individual text, right, separately as well. This is all coming from the API, right? So we have the individual text for each carousel, and we have the individual images, okay? So here is a summary from Claude, right? It's put the 5 slides here, okay? So let me go and have a look at that. So that's pretty cool. Claude Code has downloaded the images and separated the text for us, okay, that we can now use, and also provided us with the hashtags, okay, and told us that we've got this many credits remaining from our account in CarouselStudio. Let's take a look at the images that have been sent back by CarouselStudio API. Okay, so I just opened up that same folder on my computer, and Claude Code has automatically downloaded these from the API results. Let's look at the first one. Now we've got the text already separately, and now when we call the API, if you remember, we just sent the content script, which was the transcript from video that I had, and we just sent it default values, which puts the text on the image. So this is the first image, okay? And it's the exact same text that's returned by the API as well. Let's look at the second one. It's a very nice clean image, okay? And we can post these images on whatever social media platform we want to post to, okay? Really, really nice, clean images, perfect text overlaid on each image, okay? This is all about AI. The video is about AI. Stop switching tools. Learning AI is like music. Master one instrument before trying to play the whole band, right? Really, really good images. Let's open up the fourth one. It gives us 5 images, okay? And this is the comparison between Claude and Gemini, okay? And let's look at the last one. Now you can see that these images and the text is slightly different to what was produced when we did it through the app itself, okay? Confusing paper map, direct GPS route. Yeah, cool. Now, the generated images, when you generate the carousels through the API, also go on our dashboard inside the app as well. So let's bring the app back up. Let's close all these. Now, let's also, while we are going back to the app, let's also ask Claude Code to create a skill for me, right? Create a skill that I can use that creates carousels using this API and my API key, okay? So we'll let it go ahead and do that, and that'll make it easy for us. Let's go back to the app, and I'm going to click on dashboard, and we should be able to see our generated carousel inside our history, which is right there. So even though we've generated it through the API, it still shows in our dashboard. So there it is there. There's the title, and there's the images that it has generated with the hashtags. Okay, we can export this to the different social media platforms. We've already downloaded the images. We can even get Claude Code to create for us a skill that automatically posts these out to our social media platforms. So how cool is that? So 2 ways that we can generate the carousels. We can use the app user interface itself. We just got to paste in a idea or a transcript or a podcast notes, okay? Or we can programmatically use the API to automatically create our carousels while we're sleeping. We can automate that process. And what I've done is I go out to different platforms where there's content, and I have a script that automatically grabs the content, the transcripts, right? Repurposes it and uses the API to grab carousels and then post them on social media platforms like TikTok or YouTube posts or Instagram or anything like that, okay? So I hope you found the video useful. Go and grab your free account on CarouselStudio.app. Okay, you can sign in, you can sign up, okay? Totally free to use, and you will have a certain amount of credits that you can use every single month for absolutely free, okay? The free account doesn't include the API. You'll need to have a paid account for that, okay? And that'll really help you automate and create and repurpose your content. Hope the video was useful, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside.